Hi, I'm Paul Edwards, author of the Mourners Woods books, and first and foremost, a monster kid. Tonight, I'm watching Kiss of the Vampire from 1963. Kiss of the Vampire is probably the single best Hammer film that doesn't include Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing. About the only other Hammer film without Lee or Cushing that I can think of that's maybe as good as this one is The Woman in Black, the Daniel Radcliffe version of Woman in Black. But in the classic era of Hammer films, this was as good as they could get without Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee. Kiss of the Vampire tells the story of a honeymooning couple who are traveling through Europe and become stranded in an isolated village. And when they arrive in the village, they draw the attention of the local nobleman who lives in a fancy house up on the hill overseeing the entire village. And the village seems to be pretty sparsely populated and destitute. So the husband and wife stay at the local inn, and they are invited up to the castle. And when they arrive at the castle, they befriend, they think, the family that lives there and get invited to a big fancy party. And it turns out that this whole thing is a trap. They are being lured to this castle, and the husband is slipped a Mickey. And when he wakes up, he finds that not only is his wife missing somewhere in this castle, but everyone around him denies that she was ever there. They pretend that he never had a wife. What are you talking about? You came here alone. So they throw him out of the castle, and his next logical step is to go back into the village. So he goes back to his hotel, and to his stark horror, finds that the couple who run the hotel also are telling him, "You checked in alone. You didn't have a wife." This is really the best part of this movie, I think, is when the newlywed husband is discovering that either he's going insane and never had a wife, or that everybody he comes into contact with is in on this conspiracy to make his wife disappear and erase her from history. Luckily, of course, there's a local crackpot monster hunter, and the local crackpot monster hunter explains to the guy what is going on, that his wife is being held captive up in the castle, and that an entire cult of vampires is up there, and they plan to indoctrinate her and initiate her into their vampire cult. So the crackpot monster hunter and the young hero husband have to rescue the young woman and destroy the vampire cult so that the village can be free. This film is so good, so good. It has all the gothic trappings that Hammer did so well back in the 1960s. It has an interesting ending to it, a bit unusual of an ending. You know, in a vampire film, we're used to certain ways that the vampires are going to be dispatched. They're going to be killed by, something holy like the cross, or they're going to be exposed to sunlight, or, they're going to get a stake through the heart. And almost all vampire movies end with the vampire getting knocked off by one of those three methods. In this movie, they came up with something different, and I won't spoil it for you in case you have not seen this movie. But I will tell you that the ending for this movie, the way that the vampire cult is destroyed, is actually a rejected ending from one of the Hammer Dracula films, because Peter Cushing didn't like this ending, and I can't tell you why without ruining the ending. But Peter Cushing did not like this ending. He felt that it was something out of character for his character, Professor Van Helsing. So the ending was good, but it wouldn't fit a Dracula movie, so they saved it for this non-Dracula vampire film, and it worked great. Kiss of the Vampire is so good. There are certain movies that I will watch every Halloween time, and this is one that is on my list. I never go a year without seeing this one. Kiss of the Vampire, probably the greatest film Hammer Studios ever made that wasn't a Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing film. If you've never seen it before, absolutely check it out. Listen, if you're a fan of vintage horror and classic monsters, you'd enjoy my book series, the Mourners Woods books. I'm self-published on Amazon. I've written a series of novels that all are set in a haunted forest. Completely new cast of characters in each book. Completely new monsters and supernatural threats in each story. What the books have in common is the location. So they're all freestanding stories. They can be read in any order. You don't have to worry about which book to start with. Just pick out the one that catches your eye. They're all available on Amazon. I sell them as cheaply as Amazon will let me. And my name again is Paul Edwards. My books are the Mourners Woods books. Thanks for letting me talk to you about Kiss of the Vampire. I'll see you in Mourners Woods.